Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Black Cats TV. Here with me, Mike, and of course, Conrad. No, your eyes don't deceive you. It's not Conrad on both screens. Conrad's over that way.
I'm
How
a
you doing, Conrad?
trendsetter. That's what I am, a trendsetter now with this. Mike's over there. We're facing the right way. You are that way.
Just beard and no beard. That's what you've
Yeah.
got to remember. I can't grow a beard, alopecia, so never mind. We're here to talk about, of course, these guys. West Bromwich Albion, of course. You're going to whack it away. There we go. Special effects.
Yeah.
The return of the gaffer, Tony Mowbray. The return of Josh Maja. The return of Callum Skadiles. Any more?
No, I think that's the lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on West Brom? They're currently 6th in the Championship, but their current form is after beating QPR 1-0 with 10 men, mind. They drew against Burnley, they drew against Hull, and they lost against Norwich. It's not the best record. So what do you think of them coming into this game in 6th place?
I think they're having a bit of an inconsistent run at the moment. Obviously, I think they've been 6th or 5th for a long time this season. They're a bit like us, where we've sort of locked ourselves already into one of the positions and gone, this is it now. This is ours. We don't want any more. We don't want any less. This is us now. So I think they've been that, and I think they've probably not struggled, I want to say, but they've certainly had a dip off in form since, is it Carlos Cabrera? Is that their former manager who left and is now over in Spain? So I think they've had a bit of a different spell since he's gone, but obviously under Mowbray, and we know what Mowbray was like, you expected a bit of a pickup, but I think us and Mowbray at the time was sort of a perfect sort of combination of the two, with him wanting to coach the young players, and that's exactly what we were entirely made up of. Whereas now he's got, a sort of an older squad that maybe aren't as willing to mould or learn from that wise man who loves Revels.
Yeah, definitely. They're not sitting pretty in the playoffs, though, are they? They're 57 points, and that's joint place with Middlesbrough and City, Bristol City, that is. They're both on 57
Man City next
points.
season.
Yeah, that'll be next season. And they're only up there by 3 goals on goal difference in the 6th spot. So they have got a lot to fight for, really.
They're well and truly in the dogfight for it, aren't they? Whereas, and they lost Norwich last week, and I'm sure Coventry lost last week as well. And with us beating Millwall, we sort of further cemented ourselves as we're not dropping out of these now. We're 15 points ahead of them with 21 left to go. And of course, now we're playing each other. So if we were to win this game and say Bristol and Coventry also didn't get a result, it's done. Really, we're sort of stuck in there now. So I think they've, like we said, ever since they changed their manager, it's one of those that I think everyone can beat everyone in this division. And we're finding a lot of the teams that are stumbling against teams at the bottom or stumbling against the other teams that are in and around it with them.
I'm not sure. Is Maja still there? Because the last game versus Norwich, he wasn't on the pitch and he wasn't on the bench.
Interesting. Well, he is the top scorer. I will double check where he is now. But
maybe he's injured. But Callum Styles started, of course, in the last one and got a full 90 minutes. But that was the one they lost 1-0 to Norwich to. So that doesn't say much. Setting up by the looks of it as a standard 4-4-2. Does Mowbray know too much about us? Do you know how to break us down? Got a psychological edge?
Are we a bit of a different team than when we played last time? Because obviously Bellingham is a completely different player, or used as a completely different player since he was there. Riggs come on leaps and bounds. Neil's probably one that he knows. O'Nine's one that he knows, but he didn't have Meppin. He had Hume. Yes, that's fair enough. But he didn't have the likes of Brown. He didn't have Isidore. He didn't use Mundle. No, he didn't have him. Sorry. Beale got Mundle in, didn't he? And Roberts, he's aware of Roberts. So it's sort of a half and half, I would say there. Just quickly going back to your Maja one, I just quickly loaded up Football League World and went to Championship, and it just says a massive blow, and it said season over in quotation marks. West Brom playoff chances handed massive blow amidst Josh Maja revelation. Striker for Josh Maja set to miss the rest of the regular season, so he'd possibly be back if it was the playoffs, but he certainly isn't going to be playing anymore in the next 8 games or so.
We've not got Ballard might not be on the pitch to snap him, right? So
we'll snap him ourselves.
They'll do it pre-injury. So our record like against West Brom recently, you were looking at that just
I had a quick look just before we started, and I mean, if we take the last 4 games, then it's pretty good. We've got 10 points out of 12 if we look at the last 4, with a draw earlier on in the season of 0-0. Calm down. And we had 3 wins before that, where we beat them 1-0 at their place. That was the Ekwar volley at the end of last season. We beat them 2-1 at our place. I think that was under Dodds in his first spell as caretaker, and that's when Ballard snapped Madja, but I couldn't tell you who scored in that game. And then prior to that, it was the 2-1 win at their place where Sirkin got both, and we came from behind. But if you count the last 20 games we've played against them, so including those 4, we only won 1 more game in that time, which was in 2014 when we beat them 2-0 at home. Before that, you have to go all the way back to 2008 when we last beat them. So I think it was 4 wins, 6 draws, and 10 defeats in the last 20. Not really a happy hunting ground, the Hawthorns, apart from the last 2, which we've played at there, where we've won both of them.
Yeah. So without Josh Madja there, what danger men are we looking at for West Brom?
So I don't know. They haven't mentioned any other injuries on there, but I mean, their next top scorer after Madja is Alex Moat, who's got 6. You've got Carlin Grant, who's also got 6. Jason Malumbi's got 4. Grady Dianga, who's on 4. Josh Swift, 3.
No one prolific standing out.
No, Adam Armstrong is playing there now. So he was at Southampton last season, and I think because we were linked with him at the end of the January transfer window, if you remember, but he chose not to come to us. But he is a Newcastle fan, so that might have had a little bit to do with it. But he has he's got 2 in 9 so far, so I don't know if he's going to be leading the line for them as well. But in terms of creative players, Tom Fellows has got 11 assists already this season, along with his 2 goals. And then you've got Michael Johnston on 5, and then you start to get into 2s amongst a lot of the other players there. So Tom Fellows really seems like he would be the danger man of that team if Madja's not playing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're coming off the back of a win, albeit, should have been more than 1. And they're coming off the back of a loss. So what do you think? How do you think we're going to line up going into this one? Do you think we're going to see any changes, or are we going to go exactly the same squad? Because we had Brown in defence, don't forget, in the last game.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was having a look at our injury lists and injured ones at the moment, and it's just a complete and utter, our injury list almost rivals our starting lineup. I think someone put on Twitter the other day, they went, when your injured 11 has defensive cover, when your real lineup doesn't.
Sounds about right.
So, of course, we've got Sealt, Sirkin, Hjelde, all injured, Ballard as well, Elise, Huggins. That's just the defenders. And then you go into Semed, Paveda, Enzo, and then you've got Jaden Dans as well, of course, that are all injured. So not likely to play them. I think, personally, he'll go for the exact same team that started, because I think the team that started the game against Millwall was better than the team that ended the game against Millwall. We started out the blocks very quickly, tried to get a lot of early shots on and early sort of pressure and suffocation of them, and you saw bits of the high press were back. Didn't last the full game, but it was there. And I thought Brown had a fantastic game at right back. Added an extra man in midfield when we had the ball and gave us that option. And then the 3 of them in the back with Meppen, 09 and Hume covered it quite well, even when the midfielders were all sprinting back to help. So I think it worked pretty well, if I'm being honest.
So if he goes same, the one question for me is Isidore or Mayenda?
Yeah, did Isidore have a proper shot against them? I don't think he did he? He had a header in the second half, actually, that he forced the keeper to make a save, which is impressive because Isidore's heading is the worst, part about him, really. All his other headers have gone
despite
wide.
Being 12 foot tall.
Yeah, exactly. I think really it's more how West Brom are going to be. If they've got big physical centre halves, I'd rather play Isidore because the way our system sets us up, we don't play to Mayenda's strength of playing it in behind and letting him run after it or giving him a bit of space like that. But I think it's a toss of a coin. They both contribute. Most times that they play, Isidore more likely to contribute with a goal. Mayenda could contribute with anything. It's take your pick, really. They're both doing well, and they're both arguably as good as each other. And earlier on in this season, we'd have been saying Isidore was clear, but Mayenda's been coming on leaps and bounds.
You're struggling with injury when our last lineup on the bench was half the youth team in Joanne, Thomas Lavery, Harrison Jones, Bainbridge, and Middlemas. It's scary. Alexic was on the bench last week.
Did he come on? I was about to ask, did he come on? I can't remember.
He didn't come on.
There's something wrong there. He doesn't get any minutes. They really don't like him.
He's not done bad when he's come on, though.
Well, that's what I said. I was talking to the stream when we were on in the chat, and I was saying, we want someone who gets his head down and runs at someone and carries the ball forward. And all I can think of in his very limited time he's been given is when he gets the ball and just drives at teams. And I'm a bit sitting there going, as a fan, that's what I want to see, that sort of flair and that willingness to go. Now, it might be something that coaches maybe want to sort of go, oh, no, actually, we need to be a bit more controlled and this, that, and the other. But I'm sitting there going, while it's completely raw talent, let's just throw it in. Why not?
I don't get the logic. Rusin got time, and all he did was run around like a headless chicken.
Burstow got time and did nothing.
Yeah, Burstow got time and did nothing. Paveda gets time just to run on and injure himself by tripping over a blade of grass and then running backwards any opportunity he does get. He looks threatening when he's on, and then we just don't play him. But saying that, last season, Mundle was the same. At the start of the season, we saw Mundle for a glimpse, and it was like, oh, he looks really good. And then we just didn't play him for ages.
Yeah.
There must be something in the back room that we don't.
I think it'll be, if we lose someone in the summer, i.e. Bellingham or Rigg, I think he's got to, if they look to replace, and spend the money and get someone in, whether it be another, youthful prospect, a bit more expensive, but someone to replace, and they don't even give him a chance, it's sort of writings on the wall really for him. But you would like to think, you take Rigg out this team, he's your next logical person to put in, really. He's not as good as Rigg, absolutely not, but he's only he's either the same age or a year older, but clearly not as far along in his development of football. But he's not going to get that if we don't play him. And yet that's exactly what this model's been good at doing, giving the youngsters the chance to play and develop, and they're not with him for some reason.
We could see a closing of the gap between the teams above us this week as well, with Leeds coming up against Luton at their place. We know that's a difficult game for a team like Leeds, because Leeds are similar to us. They're not a getting scrappy, that they're a professional outfit and they prefer playing better teams.
Well, Luton are going to be all over Meslier on every corner, on every set piece.
We know how Sunday League and scrappy it can get to Luton. So that's a difficult fixture. And then, of course, Burnley.
And they're fighting for their lives as well.
Yeah, well, Burnley have Coventry with exactly the same kickoff time as us on Saturday at 12:30, away at Coventry, who obviously we know have been on a decent run of form.
Just did us over, but also just lost 3-0 practically. It was 3-1. They got a last-minute consolation, 3-0 to Sheffield United.
But is that their hiccup? But either way, there's two potential banana skins there, so we could close that gap. What do you think? Are you still just happy with playoffs, or
I'm not happy with playoffs?
Are you dreaming?
That's completely the wrong way of saying it. No, I'm not happy with playoffs when we were leading for as long as.
Are you?
I'm content. Consigned. That's actually the perfect word. Yes, I am. I'm not allowing myself to get my hopes up, because, as all Sunderland fans will know, it's the hope that kills you.
But we still have it every single year.
Yeah. So I'm sitting there going, no, we're fourth, and anything else is a bonus. So I'm just keeping it one game at a time. If that happens, let's say Leeds and Burnley both lose. So that would put Burnley on 81, Leeds on 81. Let's say when we're on 75,
6 points is nothing.
6 points with 18 left to play for. And I believe Burnley have to play Sheffield United again still. I think it's a week or two before the end of the season they have to play each other. So if we get down to 6...
Leeds have fell apart, man. They fell apart. 3 draws, a loss, and a 1. That's all they've got in the last 5.
I really hope it's true, but I mean, ideally, like I don't want Burnley in the playoffs. That's still I'm holding on to that. I really don't want Burnley in the playoffs.
If we get second place, it was my prediction from day 1 of this season. I didn't put any money on it, unfortunately, but if we do.
Did I either said 6th or 4th? I'd have to go back and check, but it was definitely a playoff spot. I know I said it wasn't 3rd and it wasn't 5th. So
I think 4th sounds too optimistic for you, so I'm going to say 6th.
I think it was 6th. Maybe that's the thing that I'm holding on to, that we were like bang in the middle of both of us, really.
Yeah. Right, for this one then, we've got to have a score prediction. Have we updated the league?
We do, yeah. The league is on, so if it's in there, so that was obviously I haven't updated it to yet. Me and Mike also have one, but as you can see, I've not written it on there. But actually, we should just always be at the bottom, I guess, really, or always be
I want to.
You want to move up the table. So yeah, obviously, Coffee Goblin, David Edwards, and myself got 1-0 against Millwall, so we all joined the leaderboard. Well, David Edwards and Coffee Goblin extended. Or joined Alex Dixon, should I say, at the top. I think Alex Dixon had 1-1. So when the chance was scrambling around at the end in that Millwall game, I was sitting there going, he's going to be bloody right again. Like, it's unheard of. But yeah, and then, Kevin McGinn, he got his in the live chat really early on, actually, on thingy. So he joined in as well. So yeah, we've got quite a few in there now. And we get the same crowd in each week. So yeah, it's always a good fun on the live streams. Are you doing a live stream?
We'll be doing a live stream, yes. We might be combating children in the background, but I will be doing a live stream. So make sure you join me for that, definitely. Get your predictions in on this video, though, because there's always a chance we miss it in the live stream or it's not picked up, whereas this, we can go back to the comments and pick it up. So make sure you get your predictions in below. But no more delaying, Conrad. What's your prediction?
Yeah. So it's at West Brom. I'm going to say we're going to win 2-1.
This is the game. This is the game we've been waiting for.
This is the 5-0.
This is the 5-0. 5-0 to Sunderland is what I'm going for. It's going to be a great day. Come and join me at 12:30 on the channel to celebrate all 5 goals.
Yeah.
Isidore.
I mean, if you're right with that, I've got no problems at all.
If I'm right with that, that's getting clipped, and that's going to be the channel intro.
Yeah, it's going to be 5-0. I tell you. I mean, he says it every week. One day he will be right. It's like Philly's 3-1 bet every time, isn't it?
I've been quite conservative in my recent ones.
Yeah, recently you have.
And I was on that table a long time before you. So
yeah, that's true. I've got recency hype that I'm like, I'm right there, 2 in a row.
Right. So you've gone 2-1.
Yep.
I've gone 5-0.
Yep.
Let us know your score prediction below. If you don't manage to get it in, hopefully you can join me on the live stream and get it in before kickoff, and we'll try and jot it down. But, both terrible memories. So the only thing left to say is, of course, like and subscribe. Please do. Please share the content out, share the channel out, help us grow. This is all down to you. We've done what we can by being here. You guys got to do the rest. Conrad, would you like to say goodbye to the wonderful peoples?
All the millions watching. Yeah, thank you for watching, and do join in Mike on Saturday at 12:15. We'll probably be on around that sort of time, ready for kickoff, because it's a 12:31. So yeah, we'll see you all then.
Excellent. So don't forget, like, subscribe. We'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.